Leon has new weapons in Resident Evil 4 Remake. A new VR mode is in development for the PSVR 2, a very interesting and potentially ominous sighting spotted in the trailer, and more. I hope you're ready because we're about to get into it right now. Let's talk new weapons. In the original Resident Evil 4, one of the most loved weapons in the game was the TMP, a submachine gun that wasn't very strong in raw power, but could shred enemies apart with its rapid fire, and was especially great at stunning enemies. We see this weapon returning in Resident Evil 4 Remake, which isn't much of a surprise as it was really the only weapon of its kind outside of the Chicago typewriter, a machine gun with unlimited ammo. So we can see the TMP will be in Resident Evil 4 Remake, because we can pause the footage and see at the weapon select panel that this tiny little gun over here definitely looks like a TMP. But wait, there's more. There is a great deal of speculation that there will be yet another SMG entering the Resident Evil 4 Remake weapon catalog, and that is in the form of an MP5, as shown here real quick during the island clip of the most recent trailer showcasing Leon and Mike mowing down Ganados on the island. If we pause the footage here in the trailer, the gun's icon represents the look of an MP5, of which we can see when compared to Resident Evil 5's MP5 is the same despite its different orientation in the graphic. An MP5 will certainly give more variety to the game's SMG count, and I'm interested in seeing how this weapon will be when compared to the TMP. Now, before we get to the next weapon, I just want to point out something that I realized when looking at the MP5 icon during the island gameplay. See this knife here? This looks like Krauser's knife, doesn't it? When compared to the standard knife designs that we have seen before, the appearance of this knife during the island section of the recent trailer makes me pause and think that perhaps we will indeed be able to wield Krauser's knife after his fight. Am I reading this wrong? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about this knife. Before we move on, let's talk about the bolt thrower. Game Informer recently released a video talking about some of the game's new features that was also part of the magazine's cover story featured last month. In the interview with the game's directors, Yasuhiro Ampo and Kazunori Kadoi, Kadoi explained that Capcom wanted to give players more choice in how we could tackle various encounters in the game. The bolt thrower was a weapon that could be an excellent choice for those who wanted to play the game more stealthily, with Kadoi explaining with, quote, "We've also added the bolt thrower, which doesn't make a loud noise when firing. Even if you fire it, the enemies won't be able to tell from where it was fired. This gives rise to different ways to play the game. For instance, you could try taking down all the enemies without ever being found," end quote. This weapon will surely be useful for those attempting to go through many of the game's moments stealthily, but that's not the only feature of this crossbow. Players will also be able to attach mines to the bolt thrower, giving it impressive customization to match the player's desire to blow things sky high or tackle some areas stealthily. What's interesting about this weapon is its design to that of Ada's bowgun, a weapon players could use in her campaign separate ways. Unlike the bolt thrower, the bowgun uses arrows that explode on impact, making it especially deadly against bosses and mobs of enemies. Some fans are quick to theorize that because a bowgun-like weapon such as the bolt thrower will be a weapon for Leon in Resident Evil 4 Remake, that Ada's side content won't be included here due to giving Leon access to a weapon that appears like her signature gun. But I wouldn't read too far into that. Even if Assignment Ada and Separate Ways aren't included in the game on day one, I wouldn't be surprised if Capcom adds those modes in at a later time, either in a free update or as paid DLC with more chapters and features. Make sure to stay subscribed here with those bell notifications turned on, as I will update you all when we get more information about the game's modes and content. Speaking about extra modes, it was recently confirmed from Capcom that Resident Evil 4 Remake will contain a VR mode coming exclusively to the PSVR 2 platform. We had learned months ago that Capcom was planning VR content for the PSVR 2 for Resident Evil 4 Remake, But with this Twitter post confirming the news for a VR mode coming to Sony's current VR platform, we have even more content to explore, considering you have the platform for it. I don't want to spend too much time going over this extra mode, as I know not everyone playing Resident Evil 4 Remake will be playing on the PS5 or even have a PSVR 2 at this point, but it is worth pointing out that this will be a free update for the game. Although nothing has been mentioned about what this VR content will be, Resident Evil Village just came out with their PSVR 2 VR mode, which contains the entire campaign completely playable in VR. Having just completed that mode in PSVR 2, I can say it was a game changer. Being able to experience the game in a totally different way in VR breathes more life into these games, and if Village's recent VR adaptation is anything to go by, then surely Resident Evil 4 Remake's PSVR 2 mode will be incredible as well. For those of you who are interested in Resident Evil in VR, I also recommend checking out the Quest 2 version of RE4. Truly an excellent game, and my preferred way of playing it, having played the original GameCube game and various ports thereafter. Watch this video if you'd like to see my encounter with Donna Beneviento and the terrifying baby in PSVR 2 if you're interested. And let's take a look at this ominous sighting in the most recent trailer for Resident Evil 4 Remake, and what this could potentially mean for the events to follow in the game. Although this is just mere speculation, I wanted to bring up a spoiler warning here out of courtesy for those who don't want to go into the plot speculation. The speculation begins with this part here at the 50-second mark in the most recent trailer, where if we were to zoom in down here, we can see a figure donning a brown leather jacket and gray pants. Looks eerily similar to that of our buddy Luis, right? Whoever this person is, there is a knife that is clearly lodged into its back as it lays seemingly lifeless on the ground. This split-second moment is then blocked when Krauser jumps down to confront Leon. Krauser is indeed known for the knife fights, and this could definitely spell an ominous end to our buddy Luis, who in this remake is already seen to have been outliving his former self in the original game by assisting us with the 2 El Gigantes, the mine train section, and more, that would have seen him long since passed away in the original. Could this scene with Krauser at the beginning be the time when Luis dies in Resident Evil 4 Remake? Do you believe this figure to be that of Luis? Let me know what your thoughts are regarding this in the comments below. Remember to participate in my ongoing giveaway of Resident Evil 4 Remake, in which there will be 2 winners who will be receiving the deluxe edition of the game. You can find the link to that in the description of this video and in the pinned comment. Make sure to watch the previous video I did breaking down all the content we saw from the previous trailer by Capcom. Make sure to stay tuned to this channel for more Resident Evil content, and be sure to be subscribed with that bell notification hit to never miss a future episode. Thank you for all the awesome support, and I look forward to seeing you real soon in the next one. Peace!